And then he even paid himself for child care, all that stuff. Why don't he keep his own kids? Don't have nobody to keep your kid. You keep your kids. Then you got somebody else keep. I keep my own, even though he lied about me. But it's okay. It's okay because he's trying to get your vote. Don't let it trick you. Try to get your vote.
Okay, every single word of that from Herschel Walker was projection about him lying about his family to get their vote, but in particular trying to put all of the weird scandals and issues and whatever about him onto Raphael Warnock. Now, I care a lot less about Herschel Walker's secret children than I do about any of the other scandals. That's his own life. I don't see how it could possibly affect policy. I'm much more worried about him holding guns to people's heads and all of trying to deny people's rights that he himself has helped people exercise in the past. Those worry me much more. But of all of the things to put onto Raphael Warnock, it's the idea that Raphael Warnock isn't involved enough in the lives of his children. I've been kind of defensive about Herschel Walker in that area, but if you're gonna open it up and try to use that as a weapon against the Reverend, then I think it's only fair for us to turn that back on Herschel Walker.
Listen, I mean, this is a non-story. This is the ridiculousness, and you're absolutely right. This is absolutely projection because first of all, there's nothing illegal about using campaign finance. Finances to pay for childcare. This is how we expand it to more women, so more women can actually have access to run for office. So that's the first thing. Secondly, he caught himself in the middle of the second sentence. He was like, that's what he tried to use against me. And I was like, yeah, you just realized this might not be a road you want to travel down because you are the deadbeat dad, according to your kids. Your own kids said you didn't give them enough time, not anyone else. So it's absolutely. It is soup du jour. Actually, this is what we have known to expect, not just from Raphael Warnock. This is a Trump thing too, where you project something that you're guilty of on the candidates you're running against, and then with a straight face deny it. And even though there's so much information to show that you, Mr. Warnock, are not guilty of it, but I am. However, I'm going to say you did it, and people are going to clap and still act like it's not true.
Yeah,
this is my entire problem with the entire evangelical claim on the right side. I mean, like there's some things called commandments, and I think something about lying was one of them. But I don't think that matters. I think commandments on the right, actually evangelical on the right means you support Republicans at any cost, especially if Daddy Donald Trump said so.
Yeah. We also, while I don't rule out that there are some conservatives who genuinely like Herschel Walker and believe that he's actually qualified for the position or whatever, I don't think that's most of them. I don't think that's why they're supporting him. So if he comes up there and just does obvious lying projection or whatever, and it's clear that he's talking about his own scandals, many of those Republicans, why would they care about that? He's in there to be a vote for the Republicans, not because he's the more moral person in the race or whatever. They like that stuff being flipped around, especially if in this case, it's advancing some of the racist stereotypes that they like. They like the idea of the myth of Black fathers not being involved in the lives of their kids, which is actually the exact opposite of what scientists have found. So him turning that around as a political attack, they like that. They especially like that it's Herschel Walker that's doing that. Doesn't matter that it's a lie or that it's transparent or whatever. They just like that being what the race can temporarily be about. But I want to give Raphael Warnock a chance to respond. He did put out a statement about what you saw in that video, saying, to say that he lacks self-awareness is an understatement. We've only learned about most of his children during this race. There are two men in this campaign. One has been missing in action for his family, and that person is not me. I know that politics is ugly. People play all kinds of games, unfortunately. But Herschel Walker and his allies have crossed a line where my family is concerned. I want to set the record straight. My children live with me. I am present with my children in every way that a father should be, from breakfast in the morning to bedtime prayers at night. I can't continue to let him lie about my family. I don't know him. I don't know his family. I've never seen TikTok videos made by Raphael Warnock's kids about how he was a bad father. Can't say that about everybody in the race. Anyway, any final thoughts?
I just want to say that, like, I appreciate that he started out with the lack of self-awareness. It is on display. Herschel Walker has no self-awareness, and actually, if he did, he probably wouldn't be in this race. or any race for that matter, unless it's a foot race where he probably could win. I don't know. But it is absolutely tragic that we are at this point in American politics. We've already had our democracy downgraded after the 2020 election. I don't know what'll happen if Herschel Walker is a senator, elected Senate, and people shouldn't write it off as if he doesn't have a chance to be Senate. I mean, we are in a runoff because enough Georgians put him in this position. So we should be extremely scared at the fact that Donald Trump has announced and his candidate is still the last candidate on the 2022 ballot.
Yeah, we should be very worried. Right now, like among the worst outcomes of the midterms is like JD Vance, I guess. We were able to avoid Oz and Lake and Mastriano and Bolduc and a whole bunch of them. But there is still the chance that perhaps the least qualified, if not the most conspiratorial candidate of this cycle could still slip through. And so everyone should have their eyes on the prize of the runoff, make sure that it doesn't happen.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.